all along the watchtower. And let's go ahead and let's jump right into this. And yes, I am very pumped up today to bring you all the overview of the AudioLab CDT 6000. What is that? That is basically a digital transport for people out there like myself that still love to spin that silver disc. The CDT stands for Compact Disc Transport. It only puts out a digital signal. That's right. So you would have to run it to an outboard DAC, or you would have to run it into a digital preamp, a digital receiver, or a digital integrated amp that already has a built-in DAC to it. This job has one specialty, and that specialty is outputting a digital signal. So before I get into comparing it to other players, let's go ahead and go over some of the features that the AudioLab 6000 CDT comes with. As you can see here on the front, it is very sleek looking. You got the front slot port that you can load your disc. I haven't had any problems out of that whatsoever. Over here in the middle of this screen, as you can tell, that is a very big screen. Not only that, this is not an LED screen. This is an OLED screen. So it's very clear. I can sit 12 to 14 foot away from the player and I can still read the tracks of the disc, which I think is very, very awesome. Then down here on the far end, you will see we have our power button. When you turn this power button off and on, you can hear inside the protection relays cutting off and on also. And to me, that just screams quality. And another thing I want to get to, the price. Here in the United States, I looked it up online. The AudioLab 6000 CDT on Audio Advisory, a really good company to order from. That's who I would recommend you all order from. They have the AudioLab CDT 6000 for $549 US. That's right. And I also want to give a big shout out to Jam Industries, NATALIYA and Joe for sending the AudioLab CDT 6000 into the channel for an overview. So I want to go ahead and jump into this for you all real quick. The size, it is 17.5 inches wide. It is 12 inches deep, 1 foot, and it stands 3 inches tall. And you know, this just being, you know, a CD transport, it weighs 16 pounds. That's right, you all, it weighs 16 pounds, which is pretty incredible because, you know, a lot of audio manufacturers out there nowadays with your digital transports, they like to throw everything inside of them and the kitchen sink, which really isn't a good thing to do. You know, the CDT, it is just basically a digital transport only. What's that mean? There's no built-in DAC, there's no built-in Bluetooth, no built-in streamer, no DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K video processing. There's no built-in thumb drive on the front, and there is no amplifier built in the front for headphones. You know, when you add all them kind of features into one box, like over here on your left, when you add all those features, you add a lot more electronics. Those electronics put off radio frequencies, and those radio frequencies can cause noise and jitter, which can really start to get into that digital distortion, that smearing sound that you'll get. But basically what most audiophiles would call it is you get a lot of cross-contamination. And with the AudioLab CDT 6000, it's a specialist, y'all. It has that one job and that one job only. Now I'm going to go ahead and go over some things for you all. This baby has 32 screws in it. That's right, 32 little screws that lock it completely down. It's a good, sturdy steel case. It's built like a tank. They put some very soft rubber feet on the bottom to help with vibration, to try to eliminate, you know, from that jitter, to eliminate from having that jitter built inside. But one of the awesome things that the AudioLab CDT 6000 did is, let's go ahead and go over the power supply. The power supply is a toroidal transformer, and it's about right here is where that big transformer is at. But not only did they just put a transformer in this, and here soon we're going to do a close-up of the CDT 6000 because I'm going to flip it on its, on its top so you can see the bottom. On the bottom of this CD transport, they actually bolted it to the bottom of the chassis, and you can see it from underneath. And I've got to show you all that because that really helps from having any vibrations also. Then back here in this far corner, right here, this is where you'll have like your digital processing. No, there's no built-in DAC. But what they did put inside this was compensated crystal oscillators, master clocks that are temperature sensitive. And they put it at the transport end of the equation to help even more with jitter. Did you all know that 0.1 nanosecond of jitter is audible to us? That's right, 0.1 nanosecond of jitter is audible. And yes, when I've used over here on y'all's left, my other CD players, DVD players, Blu-ray players, and even down here I have an SA CD player, I use all these as a digital transport. And my favorite one of all these to you all on the left is my Pioneer DVD player right here. All these I use the digital output. And the reason why I went with this Pioneer because I've always had between $1,000 and $1,500 CD players. That's right, with the built-in DACs. And I've had some really, really good ones. Well, when you run into an outboard DAC or to a better DAC digital output, you can get better sound. So yes, I sold one of my favorite CD players I ever owned. I'm not going to mention the name of it because the Pioneer sounded just as good. And so then times went on, and I love spinning the silver disc, and I started seeing all these people, start talking about compact disc, digital transport only, where the manufacturer puts all the money, all the research and development of just putting that digital signal out. I was like, well, I need to try that out. So about 6 months ago, I wrote some companies, didn't get nothing back from anybody, and then Jam Industries wrote me, Joe, he's like, how would you like, to take the AudioLab 6000 CDT for a test run? I said, well, that sounds great to me. And I've been really surprised with it. As soon as I hooked up, yes, compared to my other players, even my expensive CD players, for $549 US at Audio Advisory, I was really shocked. And what really stood out to me the most was how clean the sound is. I got better details. I got, there was less noise floor. I mean, those micro details were just really coming at me. And I know you get most of your sound stage and your imaging from your speakers. But when I hooked this up, my speakers even got better imaging. It got a larger sound stage. I got more of that whole spatial. It was just, everything had more space around it. And another thing that I loved about it is that this CD transport, AudioLab CDT 6000, they have a read-ahead memory buffer inside that reads ahead of the disc, so that will help with, if errors try to come up. I'll put some really rough CDs in this. I've got a lot of recorded CDs I put in this, and it transported that digital signal just fine. Another thing I got to show you all, I will give you all a close-up of the remote. I mean, the reaction time from going track to track is, boom. It is very, very fast. And I'm very impressed with the CD mechanism inside of this $549 AudioLab CD6000. The mechanism inside of this is the same mechanism that AudioLab uses in their flagship model CD player, the CD8300, which is a $1,400 US CD player. So they use the same mechanism, and I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't use the same frame, basically the same steel box, because at 16 pounds, you all, it is very, very, very sturdy. And I must tell you all, it is very balanced also. The lows, the mids, the highs, none of them overshadow one another. And it's been quite a joy to have up on my reference rack, my system, my #1 system. I have many systems. I would love to keep this one, but it's on a loan lease agreement. I have to send it back. But anyways, it has been a joy, a true joy using it. I mean, it really brought new life to my CDs. And if you're somebody like me that loves to still spin that silver disc and you haven't been too happy with it, maybe you're getting a little bit of that digital distortion, well, you really need to take the look at the AudioLab CDT-6000. Maybe in the future I'm going to buy one. It also comes in black. I will probably later on buy a black one. My finances ain't there right now to buy one, but in the future I would like to. Now, I had a subscriber that told me, he's like, well, what do you think about the Cambridge CXC V2 digital transport, CD digital transport? I was like, well, I've never tried it. He's like, well, if I wrote them and asked you to send it to you in your channel, would you compare the two? I was like, yeah, I'd be more than happy to compare the two. Because, you know, for us CD guys out there is not a lot of CD transports, digital transports for us. Most of it, you know, they throw everything inside of it that has a lot of cross-contamination. But, you know, the main focus of a CD transport instead of a CD player is to get that best digital signal out we possibly can. And yes, I hooked it up just to a $100 Modi 3, sounded good. And then I hooked it up to the new shit Modius DAC that I just had the overview on, took it up another level. And then I hooked it up to my On X8 Magic DAC, which is a 300 DAC, and I was just like, whoa, I cannot believe that I'm getting this kind of sound overall for way under $1,000. I mean, you take a $200 shit Modius DAC, you run this $550 CD transport to it, you got a total of $750. I can tell you right now, with that shit Modius DAC and the On X8 Magic DAC, I've owned players from $1,000 to $1,500 CD players, and none of them sounded as good as the AudioLab 6000 CDT. That's right, I mean, they did an outstanding job. I'm getting ready to show you all a close-up. One thing I'll go ahead and tell you one more time, it's got 32 screws in it, y'all, and 16 pounds. So it does got some heft to it. It's got a nice size toroidal transformer inside. You're getting a CD mechanism inside of this that basically is the same one that comes out of AudioLab's flagship model that is $1,400. You got your oscillated crystal master clocks at the end before the digital output comes to help with that jitter. And yes, AudioLab done an excellent job. I am very, very impressed with this CD transport. So I'm going to pause it real quick and we're going to take a close-up because I want to flip it on its top and show you all the bottom. I'll show you the soft rubber feet and I'll show you the little place where they even mounted down that toroidal transformer even more to help, you know, from having that vibration. You know, a lot of vibration can cause digital distortion, and that's something, you know, we want to get away with our CDs. Because if you love to spin the silver disc like me, because I believe CDs are still king. That's right. So let's pause it real quick and we'll get a close-up. As you can see, it's a hefty, very hefty CD transport, being 16 pounds, 17.5 inches wide, 12 inches deep, and 3 inches tall. Here we have our front port, slot port, our OLED, very nice, big, nice screen. Then over here you have your different tracking and your ejecting, stop, repeat. Let's get you some better light. And then we have our main power on the front that puts it in standby mode. We'll go to the back and I'll show you the main power switch. As you can see from the top, we have a lot of screws holding it down. 32 altogether is what I got. Let's go over here on the side. We got more. So now let's just go ahead and eject it and see how smooth this is. Very smooth, very quiet. I put my hands on it while it was playing so I could see if I was feeling any kind of vibration, and I did not feel any vibration at all. We'll go through here, we'll push play. Now watch how quick that this sucker will go through different songs. I mean, it is so fast, lightning fast, which it does have that built-in memory read-ahead filter. Very quick, you all. This is by far my favorite CD transport I've ever spent time with. Very clean looking. Okay, let's go to the back. As you can see here in the back, we have the AudioLab signal, and we have an optical output and a coaxial output. These are your digital outputs only. Like I said, there's no built-in DAC. Has one specialty job, and that is to output a digital signal. And we come over here, and you'll see we'll have a rocker switch, and yes, a detachable power cable, but not just a little small detachable power cable. This is the big boy. This is the 3-prong, and you can see right above it, it has a fuse right on the outside. So if anything was to happen, and something was not working for you, first thing you want to do is pop that cover on that fuse, unplug it and turn it off, of course. And another thing I really like with this player that screams, high quality and attention paid to detail, is when I turn it off and on, I can hear the safety relays kick off and on like you would with an integrated amp or something like that. Watch this, y'all. Okay, I'm going to be quiet. Did y'all hear that? I know you heard that cut off, so let's go ahead and unplug it. And as you can see, it has the 3 prongs. Not even 2, and it ain't got the real small detachable power cable. I mean, this screams very, very good build quality. So let's go ahead and take a look at that remote. Pretty hefty remote, pretty good size. And you'll figure all this out on your own if you decide to buy one. Skip back and forth and pause and tracking. Tracking is so good. It's so fast and precise, you all. I got to be honest with you all. I am very, very impressed with the AudioLab 6000 CDT compact disc transport. Very impressed with it. So now I'm going to give you all a sneak peek at the bottom of the player. That's right, I've not seen nobody else do this, and it's very important that you all see this. Okay, yes, I know I'm kind of crazy for showing you all the bottom, but if I'm going to do an overview, I want to show everything I possibly can. You all look at all the screws on the bottom of this AudioLab CDT 6000. They are really mounted down. These feet, look how soft they are. Very, very soft feet. I mean, I can even push it in a little bit. All very soft rubber. So what's that right there? This is what I wanted to show you all. On the inside, that is where the toroidal transformer is mounted down to the chassis, so you have less vibrations. That's right. They really paid attention to detail. Here's some more straps to hold down. Now this will be back on your electronic board where you have your digital crystal oscillator master clocks. It's right at the end where they have that board, and they have their memory filter read ahead on that board also. That helps with having errors. I mean, this baby is built like a tank, you all. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. So basically, for my overview, basically, to me, the AudioLab CDT 6000 is a high performance CD digital transport. That its specialty is just putting out a good digital, undistorted digital signal. Now, nothing in the world, is completely perfect at all, and this is something I got to put out there to you all, but a lot of you all are going to understand this anyways. But I did, I played a lot of burnt CDs on this. It played scratch CDs very well with that read-ahead memory. But you cannot, where it's just a digital output only, it will not decode SACDs or DVD audio. And as far as that goes, no CD player out there with its built-in DAC can send a digital signal out anyways. It has to send an analog signal out, because Sony has all rights to the chip to be able to decode SACDs. So a lot of those players, you will have to use the analog output. But the AudioLab CDT 6000, it's been a real joy. I've gotten a lot cleaner sound as I was saying. I get more of a spacious sound. Instruments are more recognizable. It's just very clean, accurate details. Again, the lows and the mids and the highs, none of them are overshadowing the other, and it makes for a very, very good listening. But I was very shocked because I have owned CD players that were up, $1,000 to $1,500, and just by running it, to an outboard DAC like the shit Modius DAC, I was blown away with the sound I was getting back, and even with the On X8 Magic DAC. But you don't have to have an outboard DAC. If you have a digital preamp, a digital high-res receiver, or a digital receiver, or a digital integrated amp that has a built-in DAC to it, you can run it straight to that. But anyways, it's just, it really helps, us guys down here on a budget that still love to spin this silver disc. It really helps us out, to get the best sound that we possibly can out of our old CDs. And I did, I got an overall, I got a refreshment of all my CDs. Even my CDs that don't have the best of recordings, and that was why I was showing you the Jimi Hendrix CD at the first. All his music and a lot of music from the 70s that are now recorded on the CDs, some of them don't have the best recording to them, on the CD itself. And one thing I noticed with the AudioLab CDT 6000 is, it helped it to even sound a little bit better. I could take a bad recording and it sounded a little bit better. Where on some of my players, especially my budget players, like my Blu-ray players, DVD players, I couldn't even hardly stand to listen to it with them. But this, the CDT really helped out a lot. I highly recommend it. I want to give a big thank you to NATALIYA and Joe from Jam Industries. And if you were going to buy this and you want to test it out, I highly recommend that you go to Audio Advisor. They are a very good company. I've had nothing but, good stuff to say about them. And I guess that wraps it up for me, you all. And till next time, this is TJ, the Stereo-Bargainphile. I am very, very, very impressed for its price point. Easily 5 stars on sound quality and build quality. And for real this time, y'all, this is TJ, the Stereo-Bargainphile. Bonus section for the subscribers. Here's just a couple of my CDs. Let's go through them in case you see a CD you may want me to play in a future music demo. Let's go ahead and get you some light on, if I'm allowed to play it. Let's see what the Bargainphile has here. On the very end there, it's my dad's CDs. Alright. I do stream music also, you all. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Yeah, I'm going to get that light away. And there you have it. And for real this time, y'all, this is TJ, the Stereo-Bargainphile.